Welcome back to Limitless Inner Wisdom with Brittany Wiley. In our last session, we talked about the importance of stillness and how it helps us quiet the noise of daily life. If you haven't seen that one yet, I highly recommend checking it out first, as it sets the foundation for what we'll be diving into in this video. Now we're going even deeper into something just as powerful: how to consistently receive divine insights through that stillness. When life feels like it's a constant whirlwind, with responsibilities pulling us in every direction, it can be hard to hear your inner wisdom through all the noise. Whether you're juggling a busy career, managing multiple tasks at home, or simply trying to carve out time for yourself, it often feels like there's no space to slow down and listen. But the beauty is, even in the midst of all this activity, stillness is always available to you. If we can stop and take the time to connect with our inner wisdom, we open ourselves up to a constant flow of divine guidance. It's not always a loud, dramatic message. Often it's the quiet whispers that guide us when we're truly present. When we practice stillness intentionally, we can make this connection a natural, consistent part of our lives. Today's affirmation is, "Infinite wisdom flows through me. In stillness, I receive divine insights." Divine wisdom is always flowing through us, whether we realize it or not. However, the key to tapping into it consistently lies in our willingness to tune in. Think of it like being in a noisy, crowded room and trying to have a conversation. With all the noise and distractions, it's hard to listen and understand what each person is saying. But when you step away from the noise and create a little space, you can hear each other loud and clear. It's the same with divine wisdom. When we quiet the distractions, we can hear the guidance coming through. Remember, inner wisdom flows in stillness, those spaces in between your thoughts where there is no resistance. It's in these moments that we allow God's guidance to flow through us without interference from the constant chatter of the mind. When we intentionally make room for stillness, even in the busiest of times, we tap into that divine connection. And with practice, it becomes easier to hear, recognize, and follow the guidance we receive. Now let's look at how we can tap into this divine direction consistently. Create the space for connection. The first step in receiving divine insights is creating space for them to come through. That means shifting from a mental state of worry and control to a place of openness and trust. When we're caught up in anxiety, we block out the very wisdom we seek. The simple act of being still allows us to move out of our mental narratives and into a space where God can speak to us. Whether it's through a moment of pause or a deeper, intentional practice, finding stillness creates the space for divine wisdom to flow. Let go of the mental narratives that hold you back. Thoughts that make you feel tense and worried create the blockage or obstacle that distracts you. Let go of mental narratives altogether. That's what creates the space. The second step is to trust that guidance is always available. When we can let go of all mental narratives, we can replace those fears with trust that guidance is coming, even when we can't always see the next step. Third, let go of control. Often we try to figure things out with our own understanding. We stress about making the right decisions and overthink every step. Let go of the mental grip on how things should be, trusting that we don't need to know every detail, just the next step. Fourth, notice the insights in everyday life. Divine insights don't always come in grand gestures. They can come through the smallest things: an unexpected thought, an inner tug pointing you in a certain direction, a sign in the world around you, like a message on a billboard or whatever is meaningful to you, even a conversation that seems to appear at the perfect moment. To receive these insights consistently, we need to stay aware of how they're showing up in our lives. Lastly, shift your focus from problem to possibility. When we're caught up in a problem, it's easy to miss our inner wisdom. Stillness allows us to shift our focus from the problem itself to the possibility of solutions we haven't thought of. When we release the stress of finding the solution ourselves, the answer often shows up effortlessly. Most of the time, when I'm stuck in a problem or I feel overwhelmed, I'll take a moment to simply breathe and reconnect to my body. I remind myself that I don't need to figure it all out. As I breathe, I ask inwardly, what's the next step? The answer may not always come immediately. The simplest ones usually do, but when it takes a little more time than I'd like, I've learned to trust that they will always show up at the right time and in the right way for me. Sometimes it's a word, a thought, or a feeling that leads me in the right direction. Sometimes I'm led to just let it go because it might not be my job or within my ability to handle. Sometimes the guidance is to just be still and trust. So, how do we actually make space for this guidance in our busy lives? Stillness doesn't have to mean sitting in complete silence for hours. It can show up in the simplest moments. Maybe it's that quiet time in the morning before everyone else wakes up, or a few deep breaths you take before jumping into your next task. It might be while you're making coffee or tea or doing dishes, anything that allows you to just be for a moment and reset. If you're a parent juggling a million things, it might look like taking a restroom break and spending an extra minute or two to reset, or veering off schedule where you can to let yourself decompress. It's all about finding those little pockets of peace in your day, however short or small. Finding ways to take some pressure off of yourself will help you to tap into your inner wisdom quickly and consistently. Here's a quick example of how I allowed myself to find space to pause in the thick of a chaotic moment and listen to my inner wisdom. My little one was having one of her 5-year-old meltdowns, and I was losing it. I was reminded inwardly with a thought that I needed to listen and slow down. I had to get out of my mental narratives about her behavior and simply let God direct me to simple things I could do to diffuse the situation. That worked wonders. We got through the moment a lot faster that way. I was able to get insight on what I could say to change my child's attention from what was frustrating her to what was interesting or felt good to her. I was also able to speak with her about kindness and respect so that she learns what is expected of her as well. There was a great balance of mutual respect and teaching in that moment. I was learning from her and she was learning from me, all from being able to take a beat and listen inwardly. I had to make room for this by pausing my thoughts on how I think things should go so that I could receive insight on what actually needed to happen. The key in all of this, no matter your situation, is figuring out what works for you. Whether it's a few minutes of quiet time, a quick walk around the block, or simply breathing deeply before you dive into your next big thing. If you're not sure where to start, just ask God to guide you through your inner wisdom to the best solution. It might look different each day, and that's okay. Just stay open and trust that God will show you exactly what you need. Receiving divine insights doesn't have to be something that happens once in a blue moon. It's totally possible to make it a regular part of your life, even when everything feels hectic. The more you embrace stillness, even in small doses, the more you'll find yourself hearing that quiet guidance when you need it. Remember, stillness is the key. Whenever you feel uncertain or overwhelmed, take a moment to breathe and trust that God is always there with you, seeing you through. Feel free to use today's affirmation as a reminder. Infinite wisdom flows through me. In stillness, I receive divine insights. It really is a great way to stay grounded and tapped in. If you're enjoying these videos, make sure to hit like, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you never miss a new one. If you've got any thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to grab the Limitless Inner Wisdom card deck to help guide you through your day, you can get yours using the link in the description. It's a great way to stay connected to your inner wisdom and find inspiration wherever you need it. As always, I'm sending a lot of love your way. Until next time, bye for now.